It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Dog. Thanks for hanging out with me today. My friends, it is a Monday, it is the start of a new week, and it's the start of a new month. So happy August and happy Metal Monday, everybody. That is right, you know what happens on Mondays here. We go back to a metal song, and today I am pleased to get back to music by Tool. For the first time in quite a while, I was reminded over the weekend by my little brother, DJ Dan, that I have not reacted to a Tool song since January when I listened to their song The Pot. Very much enjoyed that one. And then in February, I got to go to my very first Tool concert up in Newark, New Jersey. Very much enjoyed that one. It was one of the best sounding and performed live concerts, rock shows that I have ever been to. It was quite astounding. But Dan reminded me, is like, you haven't done any of their tunes since January, so you need to get to one. And I was like, all right, so which one? He's like, go back to the beginning. And that's what we're doing today, y'all. We're doing Sober by Tool. And this is the first single from their debut album, Undertow, that was released back in 1993. Sober is one of Maynard's earliest songs. There are some inklings of it in some live recordings from the late 80s, and there is a demo of it from a few years before this first album. So it's one of his earliest, and it's also a fan favorite of the band's. But they don't perform this very often live anymore. They didn't perform it when I got to go see them. So this is going to be a first-time reaction for me. I am very much looking forward to it. When I asked my brother which version to include here on the channel, he said, you got to go for this classic live performance from 1993. This is them in their early heyday, and it just shows you the raw intensity that really got my brother hooked on this band. So that's the one that I'm going to look at. This is from a live concert in 1993 at the Reading Festival in England. And we've got Maynard, James Keenan on vocals. He's also the songwriter. We've got Adam Jones on guitar. Paul D'Amour is on the bass. Paul was the original bass player that ended up leaving the band in 1995. And of course, Danny Carey is on the drums. So I'm excited to get to this one. Although the lyrical content is quite intense. We're dealing with addiction here today, y'all. So be prepared as we listen and figure out what this is all about. So let's hear and watch a live recording of Sober from back in 1993 from Tool. Here we go. There's that D. That note. In the fifth, with a whole lot of color. It's almost a flat in the fifth. Maynard, rocking a mohawk and a mullet in his pajamas, like only Maynard can.
Shouting every step I take, begging every promise empty, pointing every finger at me, waiting like a stalking butler, who upon the finger rests.
Powerful vocal. I mean, the quality of his voice is so. Just pop the octave up on it. You got some flat twos happening there. Yeah. Just want to start start things over. Hang on a second. The way that he stands when he sings is exactly opposite of the way that we encourage vocalists to present themselves when they sing. We are taught to have, good posture where we have room for our lungs to inflate so that we have good breath support and all that sort of stuff. And his shoulders are hunched, and he's kind of hunched over, and he's intense, and he's in your face, even if you're one of like thousands of people in the arena. And even if you're like me, when you saw him, he's shrouded in the back, and you never even get to see his face anymore when he performs, but he's speaking right to you, no matter where you are in the crowd, and it's an amazing, amazing ability that he has to do that. Let's keep going.
Just a worthless liar. I am just an imbecile. I will only complicate you. Trust in me and God as well. I will find a center in you. I will chew it up and leave. I will work to elevate you. Trust in us to break it down. Oh, Mary, won't you whisper something about the fact that
Why can't we not be sober? I just want to start this over. Why can't we drink forever? I just want to start things over. It stays pretty static on that low bass, but Paul's bass sound is really incredible and intense from what I'm hearing here.
I'm just a worthless liar. I'm just an imbecile. I will only complicate
all these things that people think when they are addicted, second guess themselves.
I will chew it up and leave. Trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me. Why can't we not be sober?
Unbelievable Phrygian mode, but he's got intensity in his voice, and it just is grounded by that round bass sound. Almost reminds me of the intensity and roundness that we get from Chris Squire from Yes. Just that bass sound. That half step motive. Wow. Power. Holy crap. That was really, really cool. A simpler one of their tunes, harmonically. I don't, we've just are kind of working off of that one solidified chord in D, which they play quite often, right? But they've got that Phrygian mode happening in that key. You've got D, and you've got E flat, F, G, A, B flat, C, and D. It's a D minor scale, but with an E flat in it instead of an E natural. And so when he's got those fifths, you got the D in the bass, right? And he goes yada da da dee da dum, just right down the scale. And then he does it again, goes up to the flat six, yada dee da 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 dum, yada da da dee da dum. Yada-dum. So when you go up to that flat six, you can harmonize it with the minor four, right? Over one, or you could harmonize it with flat 2 back to 1. And I think that they were mostly just doing back and forth between in the verses between 1 and that minor 4 to grab the B flat. But when he goes up the vocal a little bit, I think that he's on that D to E flat in that middle higher octave, and then way up to the higher octave, and he just goes for it. And it's in those interplays of instrumental between the vocal sections where I think we get those root position E flat chords, and it just gets you, right? It's so powerful and it's so primal. This band, every time that I come back to them, and just the ability of Maynard to deliver these lyrics. Just shoots out over the intensity that this band is able to generate with their sounds, and then when we layer on top of it the idea of addiction, of trying to break out of it, it's just made even more intense and just at a breaking point, right? The lyrics, there's a shadow just behind me, shrouding every step I take, making every promise empty and pointing every finger at me, right? The shadow is the addiction, right? So you're in a catch-22, I think, in this. As I recall in my read-in, this is about a friend of the band who is struggling with addiction, and it's a catch-22. They're at their artistic best when they are under the influence, but they don't like that person when they are under the influence like that, and it's just one of these give and takes. And that's why he says, why can't we just start things over here in the middle part? And he also says, Jesus, won't you whistle something but about the past and done. It's like, hey, if you're out there, Jesus, now would be a good time to make your presence known. It's like we need some divine intervention here. We need some help to get through this. And in this really poignant next verse, it turns inward, right? You start judging yourself. I am just a worthless liar. I'm just an imbecile. I will only complicate you. Trust in me and fall as well. It's like, I'm no good for you, right? So it's this self-loathing as one can't get out of this this cycle of personal destruction, right? I will find a center in you. I will chew it up and leave. I will work to elevate you just enough to bring you down. It's kind of the curse of addiction and what it can do to our psyches and what it can do to our interpersonal relationships. And so whenever I hear songs that are focused on addiction, I'm noticing in the music where the conflict is, where the rub is, where the I'm stuck and I can't get out of it is in the sounds. And so I interpret those sounds as the songwriters or the band's go-to to lift up these ideas. And in this song, I hear it in those half steps, both from the tonic note and the fifth. We get half steps above both of them, and they play around at different times. Really powerful tune. That would have been a great one to hear live. But I love the live concert that I got to hear from them back in February. Such a great band, and I hope to be able to hear them live again at a later time. Wonderful stuff. Always great to get back to Tool. Thank you, DJ Dan, for your suggestion today and for getting me back on the right track. Very much appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you for being with me on this Metal Monday. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.